And I want to try and break this cycle by giving you an example of one of my lady's transformations and show you the results that she was experiencing in her photographs and in her stats, her weight and her measurements each week, and compare to that what she was feeling and what she thought was actually occurring as she was going through it. Hi ladies, and welcome back to the Body Transformation Hub podcast. Today I want to go through a specific concept that I experience with nearly all of my ladies, and it's a really valuable insight into what happens in the mind and what goes on when we go through a body transformation, and in fact how your mindset can actually sabotage your transformation process and your overall weight loss transformation. And I want to try and break this cycle by giving you an example of one of my lady's transformations and show you the results that she was experiencing both in her photographs and in her stats, her weight and her measurements each week, and compare to that what she was feeling and what she thought was actually occurring as she was going through it. This actually happens with most of the ladies. Now, when you're in the situation, it's so very different to prior to when you actually start. So as an example, when my ladies come to me, they tell me their goals. They want to, let's say, lose 10 kilos by the end of the program that we're working together, which is 12 weeks. Now, I create a plan for them. Before you start, when you step back and you look at the plan, you've got the 12-week plan here. This plan, regardless of there's nothing about the plan, we won't go into what it covers, but let's just say, for the sake of my example, this plan is going to take you from, let's say, 80 kilos down to 70 kilos. So that's what you want to do. You want to lose 10 kilos. That plan's going to do it regardless, guaranteed, if you stick to the plan. Now, when you start, before you start, when you're stepping back and looking at this plan, you can see that's going to happen. You're excited, you're motivated. Yep, in 12 weeks time, I'm going to have my results be 10 kilos leaner. Done. That's not a problem. When you start and when you are in the process week by week, life happens, your emotions kick in, mindset changes from week to week. You become blinkered, tunnel vision, and you become in the moment only that's happening, and you can't see outside of it. So you can't then zoom back out and look at the picture that you knew for a fact was going to give you those results at the beginning. You become locked into the day, the week that you're on at that time. And if life is interrupting you, if you're feeling stressed, if you've had an awful day, if your hormones are up and down, if you've had an argument with someone, you're just feeling down in some way, and if your weight that day, for example, hasn't moved or has fluctuated a bit or has gone up 300 grams, anything that's negative, your mindset becomes focused in on all of those negative things and doesn't see the bigger picture of what actually is happening and the success that you're actually having. What that then leads to is a string of behavior of self-sabotage. We all know what this is. This happens in all areas of life. If we're feeling down, we go and reach out for something that's going to make us feel better. If that's in the way of poor food and that snowballs, we then undo all the good work that we've done. We can find ourselves 1, 2, 3 days in, even dragging on to a week or more, and completely derail all the work that we've done, simply because we misunderstood what we were looking at on that one day where we were having a bad day and our mindset was poor. So what I've got here is a spreadsheet of the stats of one of my ladies who's allowed me to share this with you. I am sharing it anonymously, but she's given me permission to share this because she had continuous stat improvements with her weight and her measurements. We do weigh-ins and check-ins at the end of each week with weight, measurements at 6 sites of the body, and progress pictures at the end of each week. There's a variety as to what happens here with the ladies. In general, everything's going down, everything's improving, but one week your measurements may go down, your weight stays the same, your weight may go down, a measurement may go up. There's always some improvement somewhere across the board, whether it's with weight, measurements or pictures, 2 of the 3 or all of the 3. If there has been something that's occurred that week, there's been an event, someone's gone out and had a cheat meal, a celebration, anything like that that's planned or not planned, the results may fluctuate, that's obvious. That week we may stay the same, we may go up to 200-300 grams and then we'll come back down again. During this example 12 weeks, there were 3 events that my lady had in her life that were all planned, and within that time there were some small fluctuations and then it came back down again. Now, these are the times where, yes, it was planned and it was a lovely event, there was no negativity, nothing went wrong, but she may have seen it, or anyone may, when this occurs, may see that as negative results and then get down about, oh, I've regressed, I shouldn't have done that, and I'm going to blow it all out. Now, self-sabotage instead of come back to the plan, trust the process, and get back on track. So I want to go through here the stats that she had each week and look at the photographs as well, so that when you come back out of that picture again and you look at the progress, you can see you didn't in fact have to have that doubt and that negativity on those individual days where something looked like it was going wrong, but in fact you were progressing all the time, making progress, getting closer to your goals. And the point being that we need to stay focused, stay on track, and follow the program. No matter what's going on outside of this in life, in our mindset, we need to trust the process. We can stop and come out of our head, deal with the problem that's going on, but don't derail, don't self-sabotage, take a minute and then come back to the plan and get back on track. So let's jump into my laptop here and have a look at the screen and go through those stats and see exactly what's happened. Okay, so here I'm going to start off first of all with her stat tracker. So we've got here at the top, as you can see on the left column, starting stats week 1 all the way down to week 12. Weight is the first column, and then our measurements, we've got chest, waist, hips, quads, calves and arms. So what I want to do is just go down through the list and see where there was progress each week, and looking as well at the mindset that was occurring at the same time, which is from my memory of what was happening. So starting stats here, she started off at 62.4 kilos. Now in week 1, she dropped 1.4 kilos, so amazing, and down on all of the measurements. So really good and exciting first week. That is normal for the ladies to lose 2 to 3 kilos in the first week and have really great results. So that's the body going through that transition of starting a new clean process. Now, after that, on that very first couple of weeks, she did have a function to go to, and you can see here that in 1, 2, 3, 4 of her measurements, she came down, but weight went up 800 grams. Now she knew that there was a function that she knew that because she'd been to a function, it was likely that happened. So was a little bit disappointed, but not in a regretful way. Was completely aware that would likely happen. I suppose came off that flow a little bit of the first week, but was pleased that the other measurements came down, and she could see in her pictures that she'd also made progress. So that's fine, back on track. And then by the next week, she'd then come down another 2.3, which is amazing, and a really nice undoing of the week before. As well, jumping on the stats here, the measurements, we can see down by 1 centimeter, down by 3, staying the same, down by half, and down by 1 at the end here in arms. So making some progress. Now, this was around the time when she started feeling like she wasn't seeing results, or where she felt like she had hit her first plateau. Now, when you look at the stats here, she dropped down 1.5 kilos, and coming into the next tens of your kilos, so coming down from a 60 to a 50, 80 to 70, 70 to 60, is actually quite a big milestone mentally. So it actually feels like you really have made an achievement. So she'd come down the week before, but only by 500 grams into the 50s. The week after, she came down another 1.5 to a 58, where you're really starting to feel, okay, I'm for sure in the 50s now, I'm not going back up. But this was the time where she started feeling like, am I making progress? So this was where the mindset played in, and the emotional state was distorting actually what was happening, especially when you see the photos as well. Alongside that 1.5 kilos, we have here 0.5 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here, 1.5 hips, up a tiny bit on the quads, and same on the calves, and down by half on the arms. So obvious, huge change in that week. But there was that mindset shift there, and it actually stayed a little bit longer around this week 4. But you can see from the week 3 to 4 and 4 to 5, she dropped 1.5 and another 1.5. So within that time, a huge drop, but mindset shift. So here we've got adjustments of hormones. So different things are going on with the body. You'll get it. You're partway through, nearly halfway through the process. You really have well and truly adapted and adjusted to your process and your lifestyle and what you're doing, but you're a little bit fatigued, you become used to it, hormones are up and down, and there is just a real game of trickery that occurs in the mindset. There isn't a logical explanation for it, because you can see here the results on paper and you can see the photographs. But the trick here is to somehow step out of that emotional mindset, trust the process, take a look back, try to be logical about it, look at your photos, look at your transformation so far from the week prior to that week, or from your starting photos to that week that you're in, as well as looking at your numbers and your stats here. You do really need to do these weekly stats, because had she not done these and had I not had these to reference, you would be questioning, have I actually made progress? But to this point here, 56.5 to 62.5 is 6 kilos in 5 weeks. So a huge transformation, and 23 centimeters down. So remarkable. Anyone would be so happy for that. But the mindset got stuck. So we do a lot of mindset work at the Body Transformation Hub with the ladies. We do NLP work. We work through a mindset ebook, an audio book, and a lot of motivational work. And obviously conversing with the ladies each week and in the forum is hugely valuable as well. But life is life, and we are human, and this is what happens. We second guess, we doubt, we kick back into previous habits and self-sabotage, and we get gloomy at times. And the purpose of this is to show the logic behind, or the clarity behind, in fact, what is happening and what we can do, tools that we want to apply when we feel like this could be happening, to step out of the process, go back to the beginning mindset. And remember, even write it down at the beginning if we need to. This plan is going to work. We trust it at the beginning. So what has changed? Nothing's changed throughout. We just need to continue on and stick with the process. So going on from week 6, another drop down 2.5 to week 7. Things improved here, and ironically from week 7 to 8, there was no movement in the scales. Again, there was another function, and down on a couple of the other measurements. But I feel mindset was better around this time, which is interesting. Another 1.5 down at week 9, stationary again for week 9 to 10. A couple of measurements, one of the measurements here dropped down. There was definite change in the photographs. Again, we're not robotic. The body isn't a machine of sorts. We do go through lots of crises with going through the body transformation and removing body fat, because it's new to the body. It's been used to holding a certain amount of body fat and certain behaviors, certain way of eating, nutrition, and now we're adjusting all of that. So 12 weeks is a short time to ask the body to relearn who we are now. So we have to allow for some times where the cells may be trying to figure out, what are we doing here? Am I dropping body fat? Is this fluid? Am I speeding up the metabolism? Am I rebalancing hormones? All these things are happening. So we have to be gentle with the body and allow it to take its time to transform. That is very hard to do, and we don't think of it on a cellular level, where we are transforming the body at a cellular level. So we need to nurture it, be gentle, be kind, and allow it time. I mean, this isn't a lot of time to get these great results, over 10 kilos, but we often force and rush and feel impatient with what the body's actually doing, which increases stress, raises cortisol, slows down the process. So it's a tricky one, but once again, looking at the statistics to look at logic in this regard, to try and improve habits, to try and improve the mindset that kicks in when it's negative, and it can trip us up along the way. So week 10 to 11, another kilo down and some measurements down, and then the last week another half kilo down, more measurements down, and then the overall here we've got 10 kilos. So really remarkable, great results, and proof there in the stats that things were happening at the time that the mindset wasn't great. So now I'll flick over to the photographs. So looking at the photographs here, this is my lady's starting photograph. So now as I play through this, we can see week 1 change. So definite change there from starting stats to week 1. And week 1 weighs in on the Friday, having started on the Monday. So this first transformation is in fact less than 5 days after my lady's start. So really, really incredible to see that. A lot of that is inflammation and bloating that goes down. Nobody cares. Everyone wants to go from starting stats to week 1, having that sort of a change straight away. Amazing feeling. We do have to allow the body to go through that stress and cellular toxic detoxing stage of reducing the inflammation. That's necessary. That's how the body works. And then it's able to kick on into then removing more body fat, but some body fat there and a huge amount of bloating reduced by the beginning of the 5th day. Continuing on into the 2nd week, another huge transformation. Now, this was around the time where she's starting to think, it was from here to the next week, are things slowing down? So again, you can see a sure shift there between the photos. It's starting to see some ab development as well. So most definitely getting leaner. If I do a quick flashback to the beginning from here, huge change, right? So these were the 2 weeks where there was some doubt. On to the next week, you've got some definite ab definition there. And between those 2 weeks, you can see a huge amount of body fat and fluid reduction. This is in between 7 days and around the time where there was some doubt. So again, the stats and the pictures prove the results were happening, regardless of the mindset being in that stuck, negative, doubtful state. So going on now to coming up to nearly halfway, we can see it going down even more around the waist. Back to the front shot for the week after, huge shifts here, so much leaner. Side shot there, and the next couple of weeks we can see way less on the waist. Waist is coming down a huge amount, and into the second half of the program now, so lean on the stomach, abs coming through. Again, the week after, arm development coming through, smaller hips, smaller waist, so abs coming out, shoulders popping, arms popping, overall so much tinier. I mean, absolutely tiny now on her waist. Coming up towards the end of the program and the very last one there. And you can see obviously in her body language, so happy. Look how lean her tummy is, how slim her thighs are, how toned her arms are. So huge transformation. If I'll show you now from the beginning to the end, back to the beginning and end shot. So these are in fact from start to the end. So back to the first shot and 12 weeks later. So that's real deal results. This amazing lady stuck to the program. She did trust everything I was doing with her nutrition, with her training. She had functions and events, I think 2 or 3 times throughout that time, and mindset kicked in with some doubt and negativity. I was there by her side, as I always am, with my ladies, encouraging through. But the point I'm trying to make is, had she not trusted in me or struggled more to stick to the plan or was not with me, so if you're not working with me and you're going through this, if you started a plan and it on paper it looks like it's going to work for you because you know for a fact it will, or you have a coach or trainer who has provided to you a professional body transformation coach, thereby you know it's going to work, or if you're working with me and you know this is going to work, once you get into the process and into the journey and your mind starts playing tricks on you, it's really important to trust the process. You can either step back out, look at your stats so far, your photographs, your weight measurements, look at it on paper, try to remove the emotional link. You know that is coming from life and external sources and reasons as to why you're feeling like this. If you're having a really bad day, don't analyze it that day. Step away from it, wait till you're feeling better, and then come back and look at it again. And also, if your body is having a day or 3 or a week of fluctuations because of hormones, because of a cycle, because of stress, poor sleep, some change in dietary habits, whatever it is, allow the body time to come back on track. Don't force, don't get stressed about it. Stick with the process. Most importantly, there's nothing going wrong until you start changing it. If your mindset is seeing it as going wrong, but you haven't changed anything, you haven't come off the program, you haven't changed your meal plan, aside from a scheduled going out meal off the meal plan, if you then come straight back on track, those changes, that one meal out is not going to derail you. It's not going to change your progress. It's not going to stop you achieving your results. But you must stick to the program and not come off it because you feel like it's not working, therefore self-sabotage, and then you're creating then this outcome of things going wrong. I hope that helps to show and give you an insight into, in fact, what's happening on a non-emotional level when we're actually going through a body transformation process, and encourage you to try and keep the emotion out of it, or separate the emotions that you are going through that you can't stop from occurring with your behaviors. Just keep doing what you know you're meant to be doing, stick to the plan and trust the process. I hope this helps, ladies, and I hope this has encouraged you to jump on a plan of your own, or jump on board with me and really work towards your new body transformation goals over the next few weeks, few months. Become your best self and live your best life. Ladies, I release a new podcast every Monday, new workout every Wednesday, and the weekly vlog is on Fridays with myself and Jerry from the Alpha Transformation Hub. We'd love to see you each week. Please jump on board, subscribe, like, and share our podcast with anyone else you think may benefit. Of course, leave your comments below if you have any queries about the body transformation, about this particular process that I've talked about today, or if you're looking for your own body transformation, obviously do reach out, make contact with us. We'd love to work with you and take you through this life transforming process for yourself. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Be amazing, train hard, eat well, be happy.